everyone. I'm Anna Hugh, Director of the Missouri Department of Labor and Industrial Relations. Shared work is an alternative to layoffs for employers faced with a reduction in available work. It allows an employer to divide the available work among a specified group of affected employees instead of a layoff. Those employees receive a portion of their unemployment benefits while working reduced hours and continuing to receive company benefits. The Shared Work Program can be particularly beneficial in returning employees to work during an uncertain time, as it allows employers the flexibility to scale up or scale down the workforce based on changing business needs. Missouri's Shared Work Program has been supporting businesses and workers for over 30 years. Today, we have several guests with us to talk about the Missouri Shared Work Program. And here are their stories. Dan Meehan, President and CEO of the Missouri Chamber of Commerce and Industry, joins us today to share about the Chamber's role in Missouri and how they've supported the Shared Work Program. Dan, can you tell us how you've supported the Shared Work Program?
What we bring to the table is a credible voice from employers, a vision of what's real out there, and translate that into policy. We were able to be successful on that in 2014. We fully intend to continue to watch over the program and make sure it continues to be in existence as an option for employers. So we are the state's business lobby. Our main reason to be is to represent employers in front of the state House, state Senate, the governor's office, our congressional delegation when we need to, and make sure they understand what's at stake with the job creators out there.
So why do you support the Shared Work Program?
It's kind of funny. If you're in full employment, if you're in a growing economy, it takes a little foresight to say, hey, what happens when the cycle turns south? We know the business cycles go up and down. So in a good time, you prepare for what might happen. Now, this didn't solve all the problems out there, but again, it certainly was nice to have this option out there. If anything, you're seeing more and more in the last decade, 2 decades, that those employers that are able to be more flexible with whether it's hours or conditions, these types of things, that's the way of the future. This is the way that we need to be to make sure that we are competitive with other states and competitive with the global economy. Shared work allowed that. And then, of course, when you have a calamity like a pandemic, it proved its weight in gold. So lucky enough, policy makers saw the light in this idea and renewed it in 2014.
So how do you measure the success of the program?
Well, first of all, let me go back to 2014 when the renewal came into question. We had over 50 employers reach out to us and ask for our help. That was a direct line to us. And that's the beauty of the Shared Work Program. 28 other states have this. I was just on the phone with my counterpart in Indiana. They are pining away for something like this. If you don't have this tool, then you're going to have massive layoffs, which causes even further disruption than cutting hours.
One thing we know is that retaining skilled employees is a big benefit of the program.
Oh, absolutely. And it's so important to have talent in the workforce. And when you find those good employees, you want to be able to keep them. You can't keep them that well if you lay them off. It's that simple. If you're able to say, we're going to keep you on. It's a tough time out there, as everyone knows, but we're going to just only reduce your hours versus end your position. It's a monster difference. And before the pandemic hit and the shutdown, we hear all the time about we've got the jobs, we've got the opportunities, we just don't have the talent, or we can't find the talent or retain the talent. Well, that was at full employment when people were moving from job to job. Now we're still hearing the same thing, but we've had some shifts in our economy. The service sector, the hospitality sector has been hit very hard, has not come close to fully reopening. So there's still movement out there, but you still need to maximize your ability to attract and retain talent if you want to be competitive out there.
Dan, we welcome a parting thought for our viewers.
What employers need to do, and what the private sector does exceptionally well, is maximize their options. This is one option that they should definitely keep under consideration. And like I said, the economy is always going to fluctuate. You're going to have boom times and bust times. We had a big bust, and having this option helped a lot of employers. But more importantly, it helped a lot of Missourians stay active, stay in their job, and be able to provide for their family.
Dan, thanks so much for joining us today. There are demonstrable economic benefits in the community when businesses use the shared work program. That's why we're talking to Shad Berner, Southeast Regional Manager for the Missouri Department of Economic Development. Shad, what's your experience with the Missouri Shared Work Program?
Yeah, so I worked with the Shared Work Program as the Vice President of the Cape Chamber of Commerce with several businesses in the community that used it at that time. And now I work with 25 counties throughout the southern, eastern, and central southern part of the state, and have worked with several businesses that utilize shared work in their daily operations.
And so, through an economic lens, what do you see as the benefit of the program?
So when I work with communities throughout our region, I've found that shared work plays a critical role in the overall economy for many of these small towns, because these employers often represent the vast bulk of all the employees in the community. So when an employer like that is reducing their workforce by, say, 20%, this is a ripple effect throughout the whole economy of these small towns. It's felt with the grocery store, it's felt with the hair salon, you name it. All the small businesses feel that drain of the funds from those payroll checks that are no longer in the community. With shared work, what it allows you to do is to, instead of laying people off, it spreads out that reduction so that the business gets the benefit of the reduced payroll, but the employees get to keep working, and they still have some money coming in that they wouldn't have had otherwise. And so it's a huge thing for the local community. And the other thing that it does for the community is that it signals to all the community leaders that, hey, this company really wants to stay. They are not trying to shut down. When a company in a small town lays off 20% of their workforce, the whisper network starts immediately, and you automatically start to think about what's going to happen. Are they going away? That's a whole different conversation when they say, we're reducing 20% across the board. We're entering into this shared work program with the state to maintain our workforce. So it adds a level of certainty, not only to the employees, but to the full community.
One benefit we see is that employees continue to work and spend money in their local communities.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime we're doing economic development, we think about the multiplier effect of those jobs, right? So when those employees are getting paid, then they're going out and they're using that money to buy groceries, and the grocery store is paying their employees, and it goes on and on and on. So there's a multiplier effect on every one of those jobs. And when we can keep that person working and getting paid, that's a huge benefit to the community. And that money just keeps bouncing around the community and adding value for everyone there.
You've mentioned community several times now. It must be a really important factor.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what we do in the economic world is try to support the development of jobs. And it's not just for the jobs and the money. People need jobs. It's a sense of purpose. It's the value that they have in life oftentimes, and it's how they define themselves. So when you can help secure that job and keep that person from getting laid off, I mean, being laid off is an emotional train wreck. It's a challenge, right? It's hard on anyone. And so when you can prevent that, when that person doesn't have to walk into church on Sunday and tell their friend that they were laid off, when they could just say, my hours were reduced a little bit, but we're coming back up. that's a whole different conversation. So I think it's huge for not only the economy, like we talked about, but also the emotional state of the employees and the whole community.
Shad, any parting thoughts for us?
Yeah, I would just say from a broad perspective, in my role across the state, looking at this program, I just see it as a really useful tool that's easy to use and helpful, and provides a lot of economic value throughout all the communities in Missouri.
Thanks for that feedback, Shad. And in our third and final interview, we have both employer and employee points of view, now with the help of Janelle Robertson, Human Resources Manager with Hilton. Janelle, why does a shared work program make sense for Hilton?
Yeah, so at the beginning of the pandemic last year, we had to lay off half of our team members, and as the months and the days dragged on and everything, and the pandemic wasn't getting a whole lot better, and people weren't traveling and weren't staying at hotels. It was an everyday kind of discussion to see if we could keep everybody that we had, or if we had to continue to let people go. And then we came across this program, and then we found out that we wouldn't have to let anybody else go, because we could just kind of adjust everybody's hours down to 24, 32 hours, and keep them on. Especially, that was important too, because their expertise in something we really needed to keep them on, even if it was just for a few hours or a few days a week. It was important to keep them on. So, and then we were able to do that. So now we're at the point where we kept, about 25 of our team members, and now we're starting to hire back. So it's definitely made a huge impact on us.
So shared work was good for your business?
It was, yes. And we were, at the time we were going through renovation too. So we still really needed a lot of people on site to keep us moving forward. And the program allowed us to do that.
So how does the program benefit your employees?
It was good for them too. I think they enjoyed, getting that little extra supplemental income from Missouri, but then at the same time, they were able to keep on with us because they saw, all the rest of not all the rest, but some of the rest of their team members and their friends and everything lose their jobs. So they were like, well, am I next? Am I next? So for them, it was pretty nerve-wracking. So being that we rolled out this program, I think it gave them a little bit of courage, knowing that, we're doing this now and we're not going to be doing our big layoffs because we found a way around it. So, it gave them a little bit of job stability and eased their minds a little bit that they would not be the next ones to be laid off. So,
how easy was it to sign up and implement the program?
The onboarding process was pretty simple. So we filled out an application, gave some data, about how many hours our employees are working, how many hours we need them to work. I think I heard back in a couple of days, like, yep, you're approved. And then I got a contact that I frequently ask questions to, just to make sure we're doing the right thing, or if there's any, issues with somebody receiving their pay or whatever it is. And she's extremely helpful. So it's from start to finish, it's been very easy.
So do you recommend the shared work program to other businesses?
Yeah, so I definitely would recommend the program. When we first got a hold of it and we first got approved for it and everything, we would tell some directors and HR managers of other hotels in the area that were going through basically the same thing that we were down here in Kansas City. And I'm not sure if some took advantage of it, but I sure hope so, because it would have saved them having to go through a lot of trouble with laying off a ton more people than they had to. So, yes, this has just been a fantastic program, and it's good to know that it was not an easier approval process. They've made it very straightforward for us. So we definitely took advantage of it, and I would highly suggest anybody else do the same.
Thanks so much, Janelle, for joining us today and sharing both the employer and employee perspectives. As you've heard, the shared work program is a win-win-win. A win for businesses, a win for workers, and a win for local communities. Shared work provides businesses with the flexibility that enables them to retain their skilled workforce during an uncertain time. Employees keep their jobs and company benefits and receive partial unemployment while working a reduced schedule, and local communities maintain their economic viability. Shared work is a tried and true program for businesses, large and small, and can be used in any industry. And best of all, shared work makes good business sense. I invite you to find out more about the Missouri Shared Work Program by visiting sharedwork.mo.gov. I'm Anna Hugh. Thanks so much for joining us today.